Hello, Faith Church family. It's hard to imagine that it has been more than a month without being together and seeing you all face to face. This has been very hard for me, as I'm sure it has been for you as well. God has been encouraging my heart in this season, though, of being apart from one another by reading especially the letters that the Apostle Paul wrote to the churches. And it's been a joy focusing on his longings to be with the body as he journeys without seeing the churches for months at a time. And when Paul writes to the church in Thessalonica, they are going through various afflictions like we are. In 1 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 17, Paul describes well how we feel when we're apart. He says, "But brothers and sisters, when we were orphaned by being separated from you for a short time in person, not in thought, out of our intense longing, we made every effort to see you." That truth that we are separated for a short time in person, but not in thought, is something that should lead us to pray for one another and to build greater longing and desire to see one another when we are back together again face to face. So Faith Church family, are we remembering one another in prayers and thoughts all the more when we're apart, and so that we're eagerly desiring to be back with the church family as a result? See, Paul explains what he is looking forward to later when he sees his brothers and sisters face to face. In 1 Thessalonians chapter 3, verse 6, Paul mentions an encouraging letter that he receives from Timothy and how he finds joy in the separation, hearing that they long to see each other because they have deep love for one another. He also finds joy to hear that they are standing firm in their faith. And lastly, Paul's excited that he comes to see them face to face, that he has something encouraging to give them that is lacking in their faith. He says, "Timothy has just now come to us from you and has brought good news about your faith and love. He has told us that you always have pleasant memories of us and that you long to see us just as we also long to see you. Therefore, brothers and sisters, in all our distress and persecution, we were encouraged about you because of your faith. For now we really live since you are standing firm in the Lord. How we thank God enough for you, return for all the joy we have in the presence of our God because of you." And then Paul says, "Night and day we pray most earnestly that we may see you again and supply what is lacking in your faith." Church family, could the same thing be written about us in these times? Are we seeking to remember one another constantly in our prayers? We have opportunities right now to write and to message one another with encouragement in these times of affliction, just like the church did at this time. And so are we expressing Christian brotherly affection and desire to see one another again, even while we're apart? And are you standing firm in your faith so that you can be an encouragement to others when they hear and see your example? And also, when the Lord finally allows us to see one another face to face and gather again as a body, are you praying earnestly for the opportunity that you have to then build up your brothers and sisters in their faith in the Lord? Faith Church family, our pastors are praying most earnestly night and day that we may see you face to face. But until then, my dear brothers and sisters, let's stand firm. Let nothing move you. Always give yourselves fully to the work of the Lord because you know that your labor in the Lord is not in vain.